What a game last night, and a huge one in the Eastern Conference. Bucks and Sixers in Philly. Fourth quarter, 5 minutes to go. Sixers are down by 6. James Harden had a very good night. We've been worried about him of late, but he knocks this one down. He had 32 on the night. That made it a 3-point game. Under 3 minutes left. Drew Holiday throwing it up. Oh, Giannis throwing it down. Look at the perfect dish. And Giannis with the slam. Bucks up by 4. Under a minute left. Still a 4-point game. Harden. Embiid, 4-3. He had 29 points, 14 rebounds. It's a 1-point game. 23 seconds left, same score. Embiid, the spin. Watch inside. No good. Rebound. Holiday to Giannis. Giannis going to get fouled. Going to go to the line and make 1 out of 2. So it's 118, 116 Milwaukee. Doc, what are we drawing up? 10 seconds left. Around it goes. This is Harden. Up and no good. Embiid. Oh, look at the block. Take a look at Giannis come flying out of nowhere. They initially called it goaltending. They go back and look at it again and correctly rule that he makes the perfect defensive play to go with his 40 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. Monster night for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Milwaukee wins it 118-116. What a game. And where does that leave us in the Eastern Conference standings? Well, the Bucks move back up to second now. As you see, they are just a half a game behind Miami. Our analytics still like Boston to wind up winning the conference. Heat and Celtics play each other tonight, so we have a very interesting stretch run here for the NBA season. And again, I bring back Windhorst and Monica McNutt. Monica, what is the number one thing we take away from what was an outstanding regular season game last night in Philadelphia?
How do you stop Giannis Antetokounmpo? Like, I don't know if you saw, Greeny, but the play where he takes approximately 3 dribbles and goes from one basket to the other and finishes the layup. And then there was the alley-oop play that I think was .112. And then this dunk to finish the game? Come on. Like, Giannis is becoming legitimately unguardable, and he's an incredible nightmare because I didn't think the Sixers played poorly, but the Bucks are absolutely still the team to beat, and Giannis is a major part of that.
You know, Wendy, it feels like almost every night is a referendum on somebody in the NBA. Yeah. That's kind of the way it is. And so maybe this morning's conversation is a little bit prisoner of the moment. But did Giannis serve notice last night? And there's the play that Monica's talking about. Is he the best player in the league right now?
You know, in a playoff series, he might be the best player in the league. I mean, the level that he played in the finals last year, the display that he put on in the closeout Game 6, is about the highest level I've ever seen. You know, up there with LeBron, with Kobe, Jordan-esque type stuff. I don't know if that's repeatable, but I now know that that's in there. And when that's in there, it's one of the reasons why I've stuck with Milwaukee as my favorite to win the East for months now, because I know that he can deliver a performance like that on the road under the heat, because I've seen him do it, and he did it again. And the East is so balanced that it could really come down to a sprained ankle at the bad time.
Right.
But if you've got Giannis healthy, you've got probably the best series player in the league.
So then, Monica, let me come to you on the other side of that, because the Sixers have now had 2 really big games at home since they made this acquisition. And both Embiid and Harden played well last night. But they had the Nets in the building a couple of weeks ago, and they had the Bucks in the building last night. And they lost both of those games. What should the Philly fans be thinking about this morning?
I think Philly fans should be nervous. There's a ton of talent, but there are 2 big question marks when I look at this roster. One is the postseason record of James Harden, and 2, honestly, I'm looking at Doc Rivers, who has had some questionable moments in postseason play. In particular, last night, Greeny, and I know this wasn't a playoff game, but check out these stats. Giannis scored 19 points in 9 minutes when Joel Embiid was not on the floor. I'm watching the game like, oh, y'all about to let the Bucks run away like this? And even when Joe was on the floor, he had 21 points in 28 minutes, but at least there's some resistance there. And so there are still serious question marks around the Sixers squad. In fact, if it shakes up where they face the Nets in their first round matchup, I would take the Nets.
How would you, I mean, the Nets, you got the Bucks who go in there and beat them last night. Boston has been red hot. Miami is Miami. How do you, if you're Philly, your championship or bust, how are you feeling?
They keep blowing leads. You know, really good teams don't blow leads. And, you know, some of it is on Doc Rivers. And, in fact, Joel Embiid, I don't want to say the word dig, but he twisted Doc Rivers a little bit last night when he said, next time we play the Bucks, I should be on the court while Giannis is on the court, because he came out of the game and Giannis was out there. He and Harden were on the bench, and they went on this big run. When you look at a team consistently blow late-game leads, with these two types of players, it starts to make you really worried, because when you look at their path, where they might have to beat Boston and maybe Brooklyn and maybe Milwaukee, you start to wonder, how are they going to get 12 wins if they're this susceptible to holding on to leads?
The disaster scenario for them is losing to Brooklyn, right? I mean, there's no good scenario for them that doesn't result in the NBA Finals, but the worst case scenario
I'm going to make
is
it
losing to
very
Brooklyn.
simple. If you were to give the teams at the back of the East playoffs truth serum, who do you want? They would say, I don't want Milwaukee. I don't want Boston. I think we can beat Philly. That's what they say.
I think that's right. We will see. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.